Hello, my name is Tanya. I'm a Spanish speaking librarian with Multnomah County Library School Corps. Today I'm going to share some novelties for 2021. And in this video, I'm going to cover books about perilous journeys. The characters in these books experienced tremendous hardships and had to rely on their inner strength to survive. If you'd like to find the books and websites I mentioned in the presentation, the links are included in the description below.
Mary and the Trail of Tears, a Cherokee removal story by Andrea L. Rogers, illustrated by Matt Forsyth. This book is part of the Girls Survive series. Imagine soldiers come to your home. They point their rifles at you and your family. Their demands are harsh, but you have no idea what they want. The soldiers speak a language you don't understand. Your sister, who understands some of the language, does her best to interpret what they are saying. She says they want you and your family to get out and leave your house now. You and your family have but moments to grab whatever you can before the soldiers take you to a faraway camp. The camp is full of people. It is dirty and smelly. People around you cry. There are many who are sick, and too many around you are dying. This is just the beginning of Mary and her family's removal from their Cherokee land in what is now Georgia. Mary is just a child, but through her eyes and words you can understand the torturous trail of tears thousands of indigenous families were forced to endure, leaving behind thousands of years of acquired knowledge of their land, the place where their ancestors lived, and where their stories were born. Kids who like the I Survive series might also like the Girls Survive series. The author Andrea L. Rogers is a citizen of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. She says, "When I began writing for children, this was exactly the kind of story I wanted to tell. These are my people." Some discussion questions to consider after reading Mary and the Trail of Tears. What did you learn about the removal of indigenous people that you didn't know before? Was there a part of the story where you were most concerned for Mary and her family? If you were forced to leave your home and didn't know if you would ever come back, what would you make sure to bring with you? Mary was a child, but a lot was expected of her. Has there been a time in your life when a lot was expected of you? Here are some helpful websites that tie in with the reading. Learn more about the removal of the Cherokee Nation from their lands from the Smithsonian 360 Native Education Initiative. Learn how the Cherokee fought against their removal through opbpbslearningmedia.org. Learn how 6 different indigenous nations tried to avoid removal from the Smithsonian Native Education Initiative. The author Andrea Rogers offers 7 ideas for educators to consider before teaching about the Trail of Tears in this capstonepub.com article. Learn about the Cherokee Nation today. Check out frequently asked questions on the Cherokee.org website. Ocio TV features voices and stories of people from the Cherokee Nation. Sarah Journeys West, an Oregon Trail survival story. And this book is also part of the Girls Survive series. It's written by Nikki Shannon Smith, illustrated by Alicia Trunfillo. When we learn about the California gold rush and those who risked it all in the pursuit of great fortune, we typically see black and white images of white, bearded men panning for gold in the rivers. Sarah's Journeys West takes readers from Iowa to California from the perspective of a black 12-year-old girl in 1851. Even though Sarah's family lives a pretty good life in Iowa, her dad has big dreams for his family. Striking it rich in gold could change his family's life forever. When asked why he wants to go to California in search of gold, he says, "We can have a better life. We can have more. I don't want the children stuck in Iowa their whole lives. I want them to have choices." The family packs what they'll need to survive a long journey through rough terrain, up mountains, across fast-moving, ice-cold rivers, freezing temperatures, disease, and encounters with people who could hurt them. Sarah and her family know the trek west is dangerous and not everyone survives, but they risk it all in hopes of a brighter future. Sarah notices that many people on the trail don't look like her family and the Tuckers, the other black family they are traveling with. Sarah is no stranger to getting looks and being treated unfairly, but she hopes somehow the trek west will be different. While on the trail, Sarah and her family hear about the dangers of coming across Indians. Sarah's dad shares a different perspective, one that sees their humanity. They aren't that different from us. Our peoples got stolen from home, and their home got stolen from them, Dad says. The Canyon's Edge by Dusty Bowling. On the cover, we see a person that is trapped in the middle of two canyons. We hear the news stories about mass shootings all across the country. We hear about the victims who go to the hospital and those who don't make it. But what about their loved ones? What happens to them? How do they manage after losing loved ones? Do they ever completely heal? What are the emotional side effects they have to live with every day? This is a story about Nora, who lost her mother to gun violence. Seeking some peace in their lives, Nora and her dad decide to go out in nature and explore a slot canyon deep in the Arizona desert. They have the gear and the outdoor survival skills, but nothing can prepare them for a flash flood that takes Nora's dad and all of the supplies. Although Nora is emotionally and mentally fragile by everything she's been through, she somehow needs to muster the strength and outsmart the dangerous wilderness in order to survive dehydration, venomous scorpions, deadly snakes, and the beast that has terrorized her dreams since her mom passed. Yada Spring by Jamal Saeed and Sharon E. McKay. And on the cover of this book, we see a person that has their head covered, and they are looking outside through a window, and they appear to be looking at a city, possibly a city in a desert. So in Yada's world, it is not safe to read any book one would like. The Al-Assad government in Syria has banned so many books, it is hard to keep up with what is banned and what is allowed. People secretly hide books in the floorboards of their homes. Silence and discreet whispers is how her family and everyone around her seem to survive. People around Yada are careful about what they say in their homes. They say the walls have ears. Despite all of this, Yada lives a pretty good life. Her mom and dad have a bakery attached to their home, so they're always nearby. Although Yada's Nana never really smiles and seems a bit grumpy, Yada appreciates her. Yada's best friend, for as long as she can remember, lives nearby, and when her baby brother is born, it seems like life can't get any better. That is until Yada's best friend's dad is sent to prison for working for the rebels, and bombs start falling from the sky all around Yada's neighborhood. Eventually, one of the bombs hits Yada's home. Yada loses loved ones, and her world is changed forever. Grandma leads the survivors to safer grounds, but it takes bribing, lying, hiding, quick thinking, keeping secrets, crossing many dangerous checkpoints along the way, and counting on strangers to help. Will Yada and her remaining loved ones ever reach safety? And will they ever be able to recover from their traumatic journey? Jamal Said, one of the authors, spent 12 years as a prisoner of conscience in Syria before moving to Canada in 2016. He continues to raise awareness about Syria's civil war and humanitarian crisis. The co-author, Sharon E. McKay, has spent time in Afghanistan as a war artist. Brother's Keeper by Julie Lee. On the cover, we see trees and mountains heavily covered with snow, and a girl carrying a little boy on her back, and a huge explosion in the background behind one of the mountains. It is 1950 in North Korea. Sora is only 12 years old, but so much is expected of her. She takes care of her little brother, helps on the farm, cleans, and cooks. Sora loved going to school, but her family doesn't think it's necessary for her to keep attending because she's a girl and they need her help at home. Sora's mom is so proud of her sons, but sees nothing good in Sora. According to her mom, Sora doesn't do the chores quite right, and for her age, she should know how to do so much more. Even Sora's darker complexion bothers her mom. Sora's larger world is full of even bigger problems. War has broken out between North and South Korea. Bombs explode around Sora's small town. The North Korean government requires ultimate loyalty. Everyone must wear red, hang a picture of the great leader in their home, and be watchful of their neighbors. Any slip of the tongue or small gesture contrary to the great leader can make an individual and their whole family disappear. As war closes in, Sora's family has no choice but to flee on foot, thousands of miles, through a mountainous war zone in the dead of winter. When they are separated from their parents during a military airstrike, Sora and her little brother have no choice but to continue the arduous journey alone. Icy weather, rough terrain, lack of food and supplies, and the possibility of being captured threaten Sora and her little brother at every turn. Sheer determination, hope, and love is all that keep the pair going. Julie Lee, the author, who is of Korean descent, uses her mother's experience in the Korean War, painstaking research, and attention to detail to produce this novel. Down below the video, you will find a link to the full list of titles from this year's Novelties videos, links where you can watch our other school corps presentations, and a link to book discussion tips from Multnomah County Library. We'd also appreciate it if you could fill out our evaluation to let us know what you think of these videos. Finally, you can find out more about School Corps by following the link below.